Hello and welcome to the Going Famous Media podcast. I'm your host, Zachary Mavrakis, and joining me today is Korona Kielce defender Dominick Zator. How are you doing today?
No, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. We're going to get to know you a little better. Could you tell us what it's like playing soccer in Canada and the recent uprise of the sport within our nation, and who has played a role in this, and how has this influenced you?
Yeah, I mean, the uprising in Canada, like with football, has been tremendous over the last couple of years. Honestly, I think the way the women's national team and the men's national team, how much they've progressed over the years, has really influenced. I think a lot of the youth now want to play football, and this has encouraged them to join local teams. And I also think with that, there's a lot more money being invested into the sport, and you see now with the CPL growing, that's another pathway for players to get to that pro level in their hometowns rather than having to, go across seas like many players had to do back in the day. Um, so yeah, honestly, that's you're asking like who influenced me personally or who's influenced
Yes.
the yeah, for myself personally, honestly, I would say, there's many people. I wouldn't say there's just one particular person or anything. I think when I was, let's say, get to like the Cavs time, like Tommy Wheeldon Jr. obviously played a big part. Guys like Martin Nash also was my coach at York United. Both of them just having great experience, and guys like Nick Ledgerwood, Mason Trafford, the older veterans who've played overseas, kind of open up my eyes on what's possible outside of Canada and, like the joys of football internationally. Plus, you get other coaches like Jimmy Brennan, Paul Salteri. Like these are big names, top quality guys who just kind of describe the life of a footballer internationally. So I think those are kind of like the key, I guess, veterans who kind of influenced me to want to continue playing sports at like the highest level to kind of get close to achieving what they're able to. But man, those are some big shoes to kind of fill.
Absolutely. And making the jump from the Canadian Premier League to the Extraclasa, what are some key similarities and differences you've noticed between the two leagues?
Yeah, I mean, the similarities, there's quality players in both leagues. I mean, I think the gap between the players is a little bit smaller in Extraclasa, whereas it's because the CPL is a new league, you kind of have that
Right.
bigger gap. But there are some quality players who I think deserve to get those chances and elsewhere and make those moves to kind of grow the league, bring in new young players in the CPL. There are passionate fans in both leagues, so that's great. I think the biggest difference is really, the CPL being 6 years old versus this is being an established league for many years, and the fans and the stadiums and stuff now it's you can have rivalries where it's either in the same city or a 2 hour drive away. So I think that makes it a little bit easier in Europe versus your Victoria playing against Halifax. It's tough to kind of have that deep rivalry because the fans, it's a tough travel. But yeah, I would say maybe the a little bit deeper with the fan base and the stadiums and stuff like that, just because it's more established is the biggest difference. And obviously, there's players, world class players that are around.
Absolutely. And just as you mentioned, it is already established compared to Canada, where it's on the uprise. And making the move to Poland must have had a great impact on you and your family personally, as you have Polish heritage. What kind of honor is this to you and your loved ones?
Yeah, I mean, no, it was fantastic. It's great because now I'm able to spend a bit more time with my family that whom I don't really get to connect with that often. And now it's like kind of an excuse for my parents to come over, see me a bit, but also stay connected with their family a little bit more being here. And it's nice they're more interested in the football now as well. Watching my games, are
Right.
super invested in it. So I think this move come to Poland has been quite nice, but also for my parents to kind of also realize how much the country has changed over the years since they left kind of during communist era to kind of the
Right.
way it's been developed now, and it's kind of opened their eyes. So it's nice to kind of reconnect back to kind of like their roots.
Absolutely. And as we're on the topic, you've made the move to Corona in 2023. You made your debut for Canada. Tell us your reaction was to the call up and how this recognition has translated to your everyday training.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're able to get a call up to the national team, it's a huge honor. That's I think every player strives to get to the national team, and it's honestly it's spectacular when you get that call up. And obviously when you step onto the field, it's a whole nother level. It's hard to describe because it's fantastic. And that's just kind of the goal I'm striving to hit every single time. So in trainings and all that, I'm trying to kind of take the bits and pieces that I'm learning and picking up from the national team, from the coaching staff and players to implement in my game to help me progress as a player to, push myself to that next level. But it's, every day you're just working hard to kind of get back to the next camp, then the next possible games with the national team. So it's been good.
Absolutely. And you play a pivotal role as a defender. What do you believe your strengths and on the pitch are and how you approach this role in the club's defensive strategy?
Yeah, honestly, I think a big key would be that I'm able to speak Polish and
Right.
also like English, so I can translate to most of the international. So I'm kind of that, that middle role. Everybody can kind of use me to kind of communicate. So that's also helped me with my kind of leadership skills. It's helped me
Right.
understand that I need to be that leader to help the team stay organized. So that's a big thing. And honestly, my strengths, I would continue saying with my athleticism, my speed, and just my hard work trying to make sure we win games. Obviously, it's the last 2 seasons, it's been difficult for us, but we've scraped it out back-to-back seasons to stay in the league. But it's been exciting. But yeah, I would say, yeah, my strengths would be the speed, athleticism, and probably leadership with communication.
Virtual reality. You made your debut in EAFC 24 Ultimate Team with your card. It's on the screen for the viewers at home to see, but today we'll have you create your EAFC 25 card as the game comes out sometime this month. For each statistic, you're going to give yourself a maximum of a 99 overall. You ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, amazing. So we're going to start with pace. As you mentioned in the previous segment, you said speed is one of your strong suits. EAFC have given you 63 pace. What do you think of that, and what do you think the upgrade should be?
Yeah, no, I think it's a bit low. I mean, in the first week of extra class of last season, I think I clocked the fastest speed at like 34.27 kilometers an hour or something. So it was pretty quick. So I mean, I would bump myself up a little bit. Obviously, a little biased because I'm gonna boost my own score. So I'm looking in the 80s, 80 to 85 kind of mark. I think that's with what I actually clocked in a game. I think that's a reasonable speed.
Absolutely. And do you think EA actually factors that in, or do you think because the Polish league isn't one of the top leagues in Europe, they kind of just throw statistics around?
Yeah, I think that's more what it is. It's not established enough, or it's not, a big enough league that they're keeping too many tabs on. So they're just kind of tossing numbers. I think at least because if they're to look at maybe some of those statistics, these could be adjusted.
Absolutely. Now they gave you 29 on shooting this past year. What do you think you're shooting? It plays a lot of factors, especially when you're playing that wing back role. You could cut in and shoot on your left, on your right. Accuracy plays a factor in shooting. What do you think you're giving yourself for that stat?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to score goals. So I'm not scoring many goals, so it can
Right.
be a little bit lower. However, I think I just looked the other day and my like actual shooting stats, like on target and things like that. It was pretty high. Like I think I only got 19 shots in one season, but I think I had like
Right.
11 on target or something. So not too bad. Obviously, it depends on how good of a shot it is, and I'm not
Right.
scoring, but you never want to see yourself under like 50. So I would give myself, maybe 55, 60. I got to prove myself with a couple more goals maybe to actually boost those numbers higher.
Absolutely. And as a right back, passing is integral. You're playing around the back, you're shooting the ball forward. What do you think your stat is? They've given you 42.
Yeah, no, that's poor. That's poor from them. I think that could be higher. I've also played like handful of games as like a center back, and I know my
Right.
like passing accuracy and all that was pretty high. So yeah, like that for me is a bigger part of my game than like obviously another stat will be dribbling. I think we'll move on to soon, but passing I would put myself higher up in like a 75, 80, just because I think that's more of my game, trying to do like breaking line passes, trying to move the ball forward. So I would say that should be higher, but I'm not the one making the numbers.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, dribbling, this is the next statistic. They've given you 52 this past year. What do you think about it? And what sort of vital, crucial roles play into dribbling when it comes to being a defender?
Yeah, I mean dribbling. It's I'm not one of those flashy wingers or anything who's just getting the ball and doing moves and stuff. I'm more
Right.
of like a smart dribbler just to make sure I can get around a defender. Yeah, again, I'd like to put it up a little higher. I think in the position I play, you have to, you know, get the ball, break past someone with your first touch or something. Who knows if they consider that like a dribble or not? But that's kind of in my case. I try to take a touch around them and use my speed to continue that dribble. I would put myself higher, but obviously it's not like the biggest part of my game. I'm like I said, I'm more of like a touch and
Right.
pass and run kind of guy. So dribbling, yeah, I think it's more fair, but I'd put it up to like in the 60s or something.
Okay, amazing. And now defending. This is your strong suit. This is what you should have high statistics. They've given you 64. What do you think about that? And what do you think the number should be?
Yeah, I mean, as a defender, you're only looking at, your job is to defend, try to
Right.
keep clean sheets and things like that. So I want to try to like pride myself on my defending. It's difficult when as a team, you're conceding goals and you're at the bottom of the table. But I think personally, I would put myself higher. I think I'm a solid defender, and I think some statistics are able to kind of back me up on that. So I would put myself, I think I would like to be in the 80s at least. Like I
Right.
would like to do that. I mean, who knows where I would really be on one of these stats, but yeah, I think pride myself in defending. I'd like to be higher in those 80s.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And now the last stat is going to be physical. We crossed paths at York United, and every time I walked into work, I see you in the gym. This is one of the stats they got correct, I think. It's 80, but I think it should be a little higher. What do you think about it?
See, there you go. You're boosting me, and I like that. So yeah, no, I think that one is solid. You know what? If you can put one statistics at the highest, I'll put myself 99 there. Toss me all the way up there.
Sounds good.
Focus on the athleticism.
I agree with that. Okay, now overall wise, they've given you a 63, so you're a bronze. At least you're a rare card. You got to give yourself that. What number would you give yourself overall?
I think overall, I don't, I don't know. I'd probably say like a 75 would be like a solid number. I think it'd be reasonable. Maybe later on, if I can move to higher leagues and things like that, I could boost myself a little bit higher. But 75 seems like a reasonable score.
Last segment, rapid round. I'm going to ask you a this or that question, and you're going to answer within a few seconds. Zats, are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Skiing or hockey?
Skiing.
Calgary Flames or Edmonton Oilers?
Can't even be a question. The Flames all day, all day.
Video games or board games?
It's tough. Board games.
David Beckham or Zinedine Zidane?
Zizou, my guy.
Playing right back or playing as a center back?
That's a good question. That's tough. I'd probably lean towards right back. A little more freedom.
Movies or books?
Movies.
Standing tackle or a slide tackle?
Nothing beats a good slide tackle, but
Absolutely.
proper standing tackles. You're defending well.
Number two or number six?
I think number six.
Golf or tennis?
I'm a golfer. Golfer.
Okay, the Canadian Premier League or the Extra Classa?
Tough, but extra class.
This has been the Going Famous Media podcast with Dominick Zator. Thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, Zach, appreciate your time. Thank you.